We will start with our official opening now. Esteemed Governor, esteemed Chairman of the Capital Markets Board of Turkey and the President of the Private State Administration of Turkey, distinguished members of the press, dear guests, we are organizing the third Tourism Investment Forum, and this is a very important event for the development of our sector. Welcome, everyone. Let's start with a round of applause. So before we get started, I would like to invite you all for a minute of silence, followed by our national anthem.
Teşekkür ediyorum. Buyurunuz efendim.
Thank you very much. So, as I mentioned previously during my opening speech, this is a very important event for our future, for Destination Future Turkey. And throughout these 2 days, all together, we will be focusing on what opportunities our sector has and what we are aiming for and what our goals are. We will have panel discussions, keynote speakers, and this year we are organizing the third event. But throughout these 3 years, we had very important leaps and breakthroughs, and we have become a very important event for the sector. And what did we previously aim for? We will be talking about that as well. And of course, one of our main goals was to ensure that Turkey becomes the epicenter of tourism, and we achieved that. Oya Narin will be talking about that as well. Now let's have a look at a video of our previous events, our previous...
Özel sektör dinamizmine dayalı hızla büyüyen bir ekonomi. İleriye bakan, çalışkan ve eğitimli bir toplum. Dünyanın kalbine konuşlanmış, kültürel ve tarihi mirası zengin bir ülke. Tüm doğal ve tarihi çeşitliliğiyle bir uçtan diğer uca muhteşem bir turizm ülkesi. Cumhuriyet'in 100. yılını idrak eden Türkiye, 2. yüzyılında turizmde küresel bir lider haline geldi. Güçlü turizm altyapısı, 1950'lerden bugüne yürütülen sağlam turizm geliştirme politikaları ve turizme stratejik öncelik veren yatırım hamleleriyle Türkiye. Bugün dünyanın en fazla ziyaret edilen ilk 5 ülkesi arasında yer alıyor. Türkiye, yüzyılının başlarında gelecek 5 yılda dünyanın en fazla ziyaretçi çeken ülkesi olmaya hazırlanıyor. Bu ivmesiyle de sadece yabancı ziyaretçiler için değil, tüm dünyadan uluslararası turizm yatırımcıları için bir çekim noktası haline geliyor. Esnek ve yenilikçi turizm politikası ve tüm dünyadan kaynak pazarlara hitap eden yapısıyla Türkiye, artık konaklama yatırımları için de bir numaralı adres. Türk turizm sektörü, olgunlaşmış iş kültürü, gelişmiş sevk ve idare kabiliyeti, dünya pazarlarındaki sarsılmaz konumuyla stratejik bir sektör niteliği taşıyor. Başta TTYD üyeleri, Türk turizm yatırımcıları, çevre dostu ve rekabetçi projeleriyle Türkiye turizmini geleceğe taşıyor. Türkiye'nin hızlanan ivmesi, 2028 yılında turizm gelirlerini 80 milyar dolara, sektörün milli gelir içindeki payını da %6 civarına çıkarma hedefini destekliyor. Bu rakamların 2033'te 132 milyar dolara ve %7 civarına çıkması öngörülüyor. Böylece gelecek 10 yılda 70 milyar Amerikan doları tutarında bir turizm yatırımı potansiyeli oluşuyor. Hikaye devam ediyor. Şimdi Türkiye zamanı. Destination Future Türkiye.
Hikayemiz devam.
Our story continues, and it is now time for Turkey. Last year, while we were together with our distinguished guests here on the stage, we said our goal was to become number one, and our beautiful city, Istanbul, has become one of, or actually the top most preferred city, but we still have a way to go. And throughout these 2 days, together with your significant contributions, we will be talking about what we need to do to make sure that we promote our country, our beautiful country, in a meaningful way. Now, of course, we will be talking about this among ourselves, but we want to also be informed of the vision of our foreign guests. So we have a lot of foreign guests together with us, and we will have experts from the sector that pave the way for the tourism sector on the stage. And I would like to continue in English from now on so they can also understand what I am talking about. And we will start with our opening speeches.
My great honor to introduce a visionary leader in Turkey's tourism sector, someone who has played a pivotal role in shaping the industry both locally and globally. She is the president of the Turkish Tourism Investor Association with decades of experience in driving innovation, sustainability, and growth in tourism. Her unwavering commitment to advancing Turkey's position as a premier global destination is truly inspiring. Notably, she is the visionary behind the Tourism Investment Forum, which was initiated 2020. Her tireless efforts have turned this forum into a landmark event that brings together global leaders, fosters collaboration, and paves the way for Turkey's growing role as a premier global destination. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Oya Narin, the driving force behind this event, as she delivers the opening speech. Ms. Narin, thank you very much for joining.
Ses var. Saygıdeğer
Distinguished guests, distinguished chairman of the Capital Markets Board, honorable governor, honorable deputy minister, esteemed mayors, presidents of associations, valued members of our association, dear guests, dear members of the press, I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the Turkish Tourism Investors Association. Dear guests, we initiated this event together with the World Travel and Tourism Council and the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey's Investment Office in 2020. Welcome all to the Tourism Investment Forum 2024. Today we are hosting approximately 1,000 Turkish and international senior executives in our fourth event, and our forum has become a significant platform for encouraging new investments in the sector and strengthening Turkish tourism's position on the global stage. We believe this platform will lead Turkey to become a global leader in tourism investments. According to the reports by the World Travel and Tourism Council, the global tourism and travel ecosystem reached a size of $9.5 trillion in 2023, and this figure is expected to grow by 50%, reaching $15.5 trillion by 2033. Within this ecosystem, the Turkish tourism welcomed 57 million tourists in the 100th year of our republic, generating $56 billion in revenue for our country. And we achieved this through the resilience and determination of our sector in the face of the pandemic, the Ukraine-Russia war, and the devastating earthquake we experienced. With this success, Turkey has become one of the world's top 5 destinations in tourism, reaching a significant level of diversity in sources, markets, and products, and has made a strong contribution to the national economy in terms of the foreign exchange inflow and employment. In 2023, Istanbul ranked first among the world's most visited cities with over 20 million visitors, and Antalya ranked fourth. In 2023, tourism in our country generated 2 million jobs and contributed $41.6 billion in net support to the current account balance. For 2024, we are confidently striding towards our target of 61 million tourists and $60 billion in revenue. Distinguished guests, I would like to take you on a brief journey through the development of Turkish tourism. The first phase of Turkish tourism began in 1982 with the enactment of the Tourism Incentive Law number 2634. In this context, the development of the tourism sector through credit opportunities became a state policy. With this stance, supported by both investors and the government, Turkey's bed capacity grew from 50,000 in the 1980s to 350,000 in the early 2000s, and eventually to 2 million beds within just 40 years through investments and promotional initiatives. During this period, Turkey also became one of the top 5 destinations supported by critical infrastructure projects such as ports, marinas, airports, and roads, as well as long-term tourism policies. One of Turkey's most significant assets is its capacity for year-round tourism. Turkey is a tourism country from top to bottom with its location, climate, natural beauty, and historical treasures. Additionally, we have 57 airports, and in 2023, these airports handled 215 million passengers and 920,000 flights. In maritime tourism, our country hosted 1.5 million passengers aboard 1,200 cruise ships visiting 18 ports across all its cities. As of October 2024, our country has a total of 63 marinas with a berthing capacity of 25,000 yachts. In accommodation, we have approximately 2 million beds as of the end of 2023, and thanks to this capacity, we are among the world's top 5 in terms of tourist arrivals today. Our first tourism phase between 1980 and 2000 focused on increasing bed capacity through investments. Our second phase, our second attempt for further developing tourism between 2000 and 2023 was marked by investments, infrastructure and superstructure development, organization of destinations and promotional campaigns culminating in the figures I just mentioned. Meanwhile, Europe's total bed capacity today stands at 29 million, with Italy at 5.2 million, France at 5.1 million, and Spain at 3.7 million. And Turkey's bed capacity is at 2 million, which is a very significant figure. So what should we do next? This is the main theme of our forum. Where will the world tourism be moving towards in the upcoming years? Now, as I mentioned earlier, global tourism will be growing from $9.5 trillion to $15.5 trillion, and employment will also be increasing, and the world countries are focusing on tourism's contribution to the economy, and they are making new investment plans. Now, the Red Sea basin will also be seeing important tourism attempts in the near future as well. But currently, Turkey is setting a great example, and our natural beauties have no competition, and between 2023 and 2033 and up to 2050, Turkish tourism will undoubtedly maintain and enhance its position among the top 5 in this rapid growth. And where should Turkey and neighboring countries evolve towards? What steps should Turkish tourism take? Together, we must implement the third phase of tourism with a new strategic plan. Esteemed national and international tourism stakeholders are well aware that our sector is the fastest growing globally, and that Turkey is a land of opportunities. So it is important to have micro and macro scale plans in this growing tourism industry, and we all want to reshape our future. So in this scope, better utilization of our country's existing tourism inventory, increasing capacity utilization, tourism year-round and step-by-step across Anatolia, promoting maritime tourism across our over 8,000 kilometers of coastline, creating and implementing tourism specialization zones supported by industries akin to those in similar sectors are going to be important infrastructural works in our sector. According to TTYD's targets, achieving $132 billion in tourism revenue and a tourism economy comprising 7% of GDP by 2033 should not merely be a dream, but a reality. Our sector has reached this point thanks to you, esteemed and valuable tourism professionals. We believe we can achieve these goals with these new plans, and we have done this before, and we can do it again. And we will be working on in detail in line with the decisions made at the Second Tourism Council. And we need to focus on branding, and we need to launch new brands across Turkey and the world. We need to model alternative financing options, and we need to update and increase our bed capacity with the support of an influx of visitors from the Asia-Pacific region, projected to grow from 620 million to 900 million. And we need to implement a residential accommodation model and introduce transformation plans to diversify tourism, particularly in health and third age tourism, and to spread tourism over 12 months and increase capacity utilization. This will ensure that Turkish tourism remains at the forefront of global tourism. If we realize this strategic initiative for 2033 and 2050, planning new tourism specialization zones, including logistics, infrastructure, storage, and accommodations, will also be important.
Devam edelim lütfen. Bir hızlanabilir.
If we can speed up, please. This immense potential offers extensive opportunities to global tourism players, especially on the financial side. And in this context, I would like to invite investment funds, international financial institutions, national and international brands that have already invested in Turkey, as well as those yet to come, corporate investors, and all friends interested in tourism to share the opportunity to grow together in Turkey. Distinguished guests, in this period, as we celebrate the 101st year of our republic, we are proud to have brought this forum to Turkey and the magnificent city of Istanbul. I would like to extend my gratitude to our strategic partners, the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey Investment Office, the World Travel and Tourism Council, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, our main sponsor Akbank, our gold sponsors Accor, Hilton, Marriott, and TAV, and all our sponsors listed on this board on stage. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being together with us for the fourth time. And I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, professional team, and finally to you, our esteemed guests. I want to express that as we continue on the path illuminated by the principles of our republic and our founder, Atatürk, we will collectively advance Turkey's tourism success story, and I hope this forum sheds light on our future. Welcome, everyone.
Efendim, biz de size çok teşekkür ederiz.
We would like to thank you very much as well for this very informative opening speech. Ms. Oya Narin closely knows the sector, and the sector knows her very closely as well. She has exerted a lot of effort for this sector and given a lot of thought for this sector, and she has become the opinion leader of this event as well. So thank you once again. Now, this was quite an important speech for the tourism sector. We heard about the figures and the requirements of the tourism sector. And now we are going to be hearing from an important financial leader, the board member and CEO of Akbank. And of course, he is leading pioneering projects in the tourism area, along with many others as well. And they are also the main sponsor of this very important event. So thank you once again for that. So Mr. Kaan Gür, I would like to invite you up on stage for your welcoming remarks, please. The floor is yours.
Yes, distinguished governor, distinguished chairman, distinguished deputy ministers, distinguished members of the protocol, invitees, and distinguished guests. Today, we are here on the occasion of Tourism Investment Forum. So we, together with our team members, we're very happy to be with you, distinguished guests. As you know, our country has geographical richnesses and historical heritage and cultural diversity. So every single year, we're hosting millions of visitors. That makes us a tourism center. In our tourism development, in our economic development, of course, tourism industry is going to be there to further develop our stance, and it is making important activities, and the foreign trade balance is tried to be created thanks to the employment to be generated by this particular sector, and this particular sector is writing the success stories. The sector-based stories are pointing out the potential to be further developed, and of course in this particular field it is showing the fact that we have perseverance to achieve much more. Towards that end, tourism sector is going to be taking further steps ahead. So I wholeheartedly believe that this should be our common aim. So the banking sector is going to be there to provide financial solutions for the tourism agencies and corporations, and the banking sector also assumes an incentivizing role. According to the Banking Regulatory Supervisory Board data, by the end of September 2024, the total tourism loans compared to the same period of the last year increased by 38%, which is amounting to, including tangible and intangible cash and non-cash, has increased to 500 billion TL. Akbank shows a similar trend and similar growth. Akbank provided the same, almost considerable amount to the tourism sector, which is going to be a huge fact to point out the fact that we're going to be there to further incentivize. Thanks to the digital channels, we're going to provide much more support to the tourism sector and the ecosystem. This is what I would like to underline. So, distinguished members of the audience, as Akbank, we have 12 provinces and where there are tourism activities, and we have 410 branches. We have 3,500 employees working in those branches in 12 provinces where tourism activities are intensely continuing. So the total loans provided by Akbank has exceeded 40 billion TL. This is 70% of this amount is contributed to the investment financing. So in terms of investment banking, we have infrastructural projects supported by Akbank. In addition to those projects, especially from the perspective of sustainability, which is integrated in all of our activities, thanks to the new loans issued in the third quarter, by the third quarter of 2024 in this portfolio, the risk amount by 94% is being followed up within the framework of blue financing. That's what I would like to share with you. So, concisely speaking, looking at the past 5 years as Akbank, as the Akbank Corporation, the share that we obtained from the tourism sector has increased by 1%, which has increased to 7.5%. Of course, our main purpose is to increase it further, especially by 2025. We would like to increase our market share at least by 1%. I would like to point out the fact that, as a matter of fact, especially in looking at the past 3 months on the side of the investment banking, tourism sector has generated quite a big amount of proposals, which we're effectuating. Distinguished members of the audience, in the coming period, we are going to continue our support to be given to the tourism sector. That's what I would like to strongly underline. Another important topic is the climate changes, which will be felt intensely. So as corporation, we are going to be innovative, we're going to be eco-friendly, we're going to take tourism into our focus. In order to strengthen all of these steps, we are leaning towards those areas. Tourism sector is developing so fiercely, and we are aware of the risks to be brought by the vulnerabilities of the climate changes. Of course, within the framework of the sustainable financing activities, we would like to increase the number of solutions to be provided by the climate resilience. So we are attaching importance to, we're prioritizing our steps to be taken towards that. As I mentioned earlier on, with the blue financing product package, we would like to decrease the environmental footprint, and we would like to preserve the marine ecosystem, and we would like to eliminate the pollution in such a way to strengthen our incentives and investments. Distinguished members of the audience, within the framework of the sustainable financing activities of ours, we are working with the international investors, and in parallelism with the marketing expectations, we are exerting our best efforts within the framework of the expectations on the side of sustainability. We believe that the momentum obtained by Turkey will be further strengthened. So Today's forum is going to pave the way for new opportunities to be generated by the common efforts. Distinguished guests, I would like to thank Turkish Tourism Investors Association for their great initiative. So we are very happy to contribute to their initiative as Akbank, and I hope that this forum is going to be fruitful for every single participant of the forum. Thank you very much.
Evet, Sayın Kaan.
Yes, Kaan Gür, we'd like to thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for your kind support that you gave to this forum. Thank you very much for being our main sponsor, and we hope that in the coming periods the tourism sector will continue to be supported by Akbank. This is what he said. We'd like to thank Mr. Kaan Gür very much for his inputs. Now, one of the drivers of the Turkish financing system is kindly invited to the floor, the chairman of the Capital Markets Board of Turkey, and new opportunities will be created by their kind efforts. Mr. İbrahim Ömer Gönül is kindly invited to the floor for his opening speech.
Sayın Valim,
Honorable Governor, distinguished head of the Investment Office, distinguished minister, distinguished chairman, distinguished guests, distinguished members of the press. So I would like to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to address you in such an important forum. I would like to thank the chairman very much. As you know, as the Capital Markets Board of Turkey, as the CMB, we are encouraging the broad participation into the capital markets of Turkey. So this is what we have been doing recently, especially when it comes to the tourism sector. We are aware of the fact that the sector in question is very important for our country. And looking at the latest figures, this is what we can say. The number of visitors in Turkey has reached 50 million, and the total tourism revenues is $47 billion. This is what's been generated in the same period, and which is a great development for us. As the CMB of Turkey, we are providing our support to the tourism sector, and it is going to be continued in the future. In this stock exchange, there are 19 quoted tourism companies, and 13 of them are in the tourism index, and 3 out of 13 have been publicly quoted in 2023, which means that we are providing our support to the sector through the capital markets. As one of the most important instruments, the quotations are very important, and there are some other instruments which will play a very important role. So we hope that the corporations will be publicly quoted in the future so that they would be exchanged in the market. So this is going to pave the way for the institutionalization, and their international reputation will be benefiting from their quotation. Especially as the real estate investment fund trust and the developmental funds. And as the real estate development trusts, we're going to effectuate many other instruments in addition to the ones that I've just cited. So in addition to 19 companies, there will be many more, I hope, and they will be also publicly quoted so that the financial opportunities will be accessed in a more easier way. In addition to what I have cited, another instrument is the debting instruments. So this is what is needed by the tourism sector, which is financing, and it's going to be much more facilitated. It will be more accessible by the players of the sector concerned. And of course, the debting instruments will play a very important role. When it comes to the sustainable debting instruments, they are going to play a very important role as the source to finance the sector. So as the investors of tourism sector, we believe that the players of the sector will be informed of the bonds to be issued. As you know, the sustainability, globally speaking, is going to pave the way for the developing economies, and we are expecting it to further develop. And developing tourism sector and sustainability will go in tandem. There will be the shareholders. And we have interest-based sensitivities, and the lease certificates, lease bills will also be there to find the funds, which will be the instruments free of interest. So in terms of the insurance of the lease bonds, 774 billion TL of source is being generated. As the real estate investment trust, as the real estate investment fund, as the resources to be provided within that perspective will be there in terms of the hotel constructions. As the venture funds, we believe that we have provided our initiatives to further invest in those efforts. I would like to point out the fact that within the framework of all lawmaking activities, upon your request, we wanted to have a more inclusive pieces of legislation so that many more would benefit from the incentives. I would like to thank each and every one of you who have exerted their best efforts to organize this forum summit. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chairman of CMB. Now, to make Turkey the center of attraction for the tourism investors, privatization administration of Turkey has been playing a significant role, chaired by Ahmet Burak Dağlıoğlu and, excuse me, the head of the investment office of the Republic of Turkey, Ahmet Burak Dağlıoğlu, distinguished chair of the forum, distinguished members of the TTYD, distinguished businessmen. I would like to welcome each and every one of you on behalf of the Presidential Investment Office of the Republic of Turkey. So I would like to take this opportunity to address you in such a way to support my presentation. Thanks to the visuals, I would like to take to the stage towards the middle of it. As you know very well, as it's written down, we have completed 100 years of the Republic of Turkey, and with the leadership of the president, we are going to have the new century of investments. Our focal point is the direct international investment. So I'm going to try to make a short evaluation. As Oya has mentioned, this is going to be the third period of tourism investment. So we are planning to play a more active role. As the president said, since 2023, since his leadership, we have made a huge achievement of the initiative, and we have attracted $262 billion. And in the previous period, we have attracted $15 billion US. In terms of the percentiles, Turkey attracted 9 per mil of the investments. It used to be 2 per mil. So we can say that there are more than 80,000 international corporations in Turkey. So the current 40% of the current account deficit is being provided, has been covered by the foreign direct investment, international direct investments. So we need to generate employment. We need to generate jobs. So 8.8% of the employment is being created by the international corporations. Of course, export is a very important target for us. So looking at the period from 2006 and 2021, 31% of the exports have been created by the international corporations. Actually, I'm not referring to the coefficient factor. I'm talking about the direct export. As you know, these corporations have a huge decision-making role, and they are integrating us to the international supply chains. Another indicator for us is on the side of our research and development, and the private sector it spends 30% of the total amount to be spent on the R&D. So this is a very important indicator, and more than 70% we are providing locally. So we can say that the international investments create a huge amounts in the export business and in the employment. And since 2003 until this period, you can see the annual distribution of the investment. So I wanted to show you this to give you an idea as to how we have been performing on the side of attracting exports in parallelism with the global developments. This is what I would like to show you. So in tourism sector, in our taxonomy, in terms of food and beverage, in terms of hospitality, this is the total amount. So we rank the 10th. So, of course, the biggest investment is on the side of energy, construction, and investments. But the real tourism investments are much more than this taxonomy. So, marina type of investments, unfortunately, are not shown in this particular breakdown. But the bigger amount is on the side of the real estate investment, especially after 2016. By means of investments, we have initiated the citizenship by investments, so we can see this momentum. But before that, there are serious amounts of real estate investments, and the tourism investments, tourism-related real estate investments are not shown in this breakdown. This is why I cannot share you exact numbers, but here's how we evaluate ourselves. We know that our geography is very competitive, and international investors consider Turkey in the middle of Eastern and Central Europe and Middle East and North Africa. With this total investment perspective, we rank the second in terms of being a country to attract the most of the investments in this particular geography. What kind of investments are there? So, of course, this can be promising for the tourism sector, especially in the recent years when it comes to services. We can see a huge momentum on the side of the services sector. So we are aware of the fact that we have to attract more investments. And in terms of FDI brands, when you look at the greenfield investments, zero investment kind of projects are shown prospectively. So let's take a look at this picture from the geographical viewpoint. So we have divided the period into two, the first period and the second period. In the first period, and the project number of projects has not increased. So the tourism-related investments have not increased, but Turkey preserved its position and then ranked the second. So our target is to cover up the difference with the country that ranked the first. So of course, tourism investments are very important for us. Of course, we are exporting goods and supplies. Of course, we need to export services in which we have achieved an increase, as you know. $80 million is our target for future by 2028. With the long-term perspective, tourism has been covering 50% of the services export, and we have aviation, which is also very important and which is very affiliated with the tourism sector. And the relevant sectors can be shown on the pie chart. Of course, Turkey is going to be there to make much more moves. So within the framework of the investments perspective, this is what we can say. Of course, the investors invest in future, as you might remember. We have 1% of the global investments. We want to increase this percentage to 1.5%. We want to increase our performance to attract investments by 1.5%, and we would like to increase our investment attraction potential regionally up to 12%. And we have some pillars such as digital investments, eco investments. So these are some of the breakdowns which I can take from the international data. So we're targeting to achieve those projects related with those pillars. So especially the eco-friendly investments are quite prioritized, as Kaan mentioned, and the qualified employment investments and value-added investments and regional development investments are quite overlapping with one another, and we are of the idea that we can attract much more investments related to tourism. And actually the qualified investments are the ones that I would like to underline. What do we mean by financial investments? We mean the venture funds, infrastructural funds are the ones that I'm referring to. In the past periods, of course, we have attracted quite a lot of investments in those funds, but we know that there's quite a lot of accumulated capital, and we believe that this is not enough. So the financial investors are expected to focus in our area so that they would be able to focus in our tourism pillars. We are providing necessary platforms in order to explain what kind of potentials are there. So as the presidential office, we are creating the ecosystems for startups, which are playing a huge role in terms of the dynamics to be played. So this is the data from the startup data base. So travel tech is the one that I'm referring to there. So there are more than 200 entities. Some of them have merged with one another. Some have discontinued. You can see the top 10 companies mostly funded. So there are approximately 60 companies established, and 45 of them are continuing their efforts in the field of hotel and hosting. The other area is the restaurant technologies, which is related to food and catering, and more than 170 companies have been established, and at the moment there are 100 currently active. So in the conventional spheres, we are getting together to remind you of this particular fact. So we have the chairman of the CMB, and he has kindly explained what can be done in terms of legislation making when it comes to capital venture funds. Each and every one of us is able to make investments in this particular field. In the last part of my presentation, I would like to point out this particular vision for future. Very roughly, we have seen how the trend has been. Of course, the domestic investors are intensely making investments in this particular field, but this area is going to be the area in which we are going to support international players. So we would like to be in collaboration with you much more in the future. So while we're making announcements for our country, Turkey is your resilient partner. This is what we have been saying. In the second century of our country, we're going to be the connection point of Turkey's nexus of the world is our campaign. So we believe that Turkey is going to be linking many more geographies in order to attract much more investments on the side of tourism. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to address you. Yes. Thank you very much.
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz efendim ve
Thank you so much. Deputy Minister of Tourism, Nadir Alpaslan, is kindly invited to the floor. Yes.
Sayın Valim,
Esteemed Governor, esteemed presidents, esteemed parliament members, former ministers, esteemed guests, investors, entrepreneurs of the tourism sector, and esteemed guests coming from all around our country and all across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, dear press members, I would like to cordially greet you all. Now, the Turkish Tourism Investors Association, the Investment Office of the Presidency of Turkey, and the World Travel and Tourism Council are organizing this event, and I hope it will be an auspicious one for our sector, and I hope there will be significant decisions taken in the benefit of our future. We will be closely following up with this forum as well, and we will be taking all the ideas mentioned here into consideration. Now, esteemed guests, as you know, Turkey is one of the leading countries in the area of tourism, and we are like a Super League player, and we are one of the most valued countries across the world in terms of tourism. Now, in 1982, the Tourism Incentive Law was enacted, and from then till now, we have become one of the most important tourism countries. Now, of course, at the beginning of this process, when this law was enacted, we had a vision, and of course, our eighth president, Mr. Turgut Özal, I would like to commemorate him as well. It is through his vision that we reached this day. And of course, the potential of Turkey was unleashed through the entrepreneurship spirit in the tourism sector. And our president had mentioned that tourism is a strategic field in Turkey. And of course, as the ministry, we worked together with all the stakeholders of the industry and created our strategic plans. And we focused on activities centered around what needs to be done to further develop the tourism sector. Now, of course, the Tourism Promotion Agency was an important step we took. Establishing this agency was very important. And together with the support of the parliament, the Turkey Tourism Promotion and Development Agency was formed. Now, this was, of course, a public institution, but it has its own election system with candidates from the tourism sector, and they are able to take rapid decisions and also implement these decisions swiftly. And the recent significant crises and other issues that were faced were resolved. And also the pandemic, for example, was one of the most major crises. I mean, let alone tourism, people weren't able to leave their homes. And I would like to commemorate all those who passed away also at the earthquake that took place on the 6th of February. You all know how devastating it was. And of course, right up north, the Russia-Ukraine war is ongoing, and that is one of the most important markets for Turkey. And down south, there is a genocide going on. But despite all these developments, Turkey took very important steps, and we are the fifth most visited countries, and we are we had 49 million tourists in the first 9 months of 2024, and we had 46.9 billion Turkish lira income, and we are moving towards our target with solid steps. And in the near future, we want to further improve these targets. And as Ms. Oya Narin mentioned, the tourism industry will be growing further, and we want a bigger share of this growing industry as well. And when we look at the previous crises, we are also ensuring that we have a crisis management plan in place, and we are trying to diversify the tourism products in Turkey so that we have some measures against such crises. Now, of course, Turkey has the sea, sun, and sand, and then there's Istanbul. These were all important pillars in our tourism steps, but we want to further diversify tourism products and have a more enriched tourism policy. We want to have year-round tourism in all 81 provinces, and as I mentioned earlier, and as it was mentioned by other speakers, and as we saw in the video played at the beginning, Turkey is one of the richest countries in terms of cultural assets and cultural heritage. We have the journey of humanity starting on these lands. So we have an amazing cultural asset, and it is important that we preserve this asset and deliver it to future generations. And of course, this can also become an important contributor to the increasing share we are aiming for in tourism. And it is also important to have night visits to important cultural sites, especially in the summer. As you know, the coastlines can be very warm. So having visits at night is more comfortable. And we started this activity this year, and we will continue to extend the scope of night visits. And also we have our Legacy to the Future project, and we are investing vastly to activities around passing on our heritage to future generations. Then Christianity, Judaism, all Anatolian beliefs are centered in our country as well. So we have culture and faith tourism, which is also something we are focusing on. In terms of health tourism, Turkey also has an amazing potential. Nature tourism, Congress tourism, winter tourism. I mean, we basically encompass all sorts of tourism. I mean, from the coastlines to northern Black Sea to Cappadocia to Hakkari to Muğla, we are diversifying tourism products to ensure that we have a greater scope of tourism products. And of course, the entire world are our potential clients and our competitors. So in this framework, we are trying to diversify our markets as well, and we see each and every part of the world as a market, and that's how we direct our activities. Then there's Turkish Airlines, a very important brand. They fly to over 300 destinations, and each destination is a potential market for us. So that's why we are trying to promote our tourism potential in all these destinations through the Turkey Tourism Promotion and Development Agency. And together with this agency, we have become the most efficient tourism promotion country. We are doing this through traditional channels and digital channels as well. And we are also utilizing social media very well. And we are one of the countries that sets an example in terms of tourism promotion. And of course, as we are carrying out all these activities, we take the qualifications of the staff in this agency as well, and we utilize the technology of our day. Together with AI, we are using all sorts of information technology products very efficiently, and we are setting our strategies in this sense, and we are probably one of the leading countries in this sense. Now, another very important element of promotion is PR, and we are making significant use of this instrument as well. And tour operators are also a very important element. We collaborate with tour operators as well for the promotion of our country, and we are one of the leading countries in terms of promotion, as I mentioned earlier. So those are the activities we are focusing on. And of course, in collaboration with the sector, from the experience we gained from the pandemic, we focused on the secure tourism certificate program because we were going through a phase where people couldn't leave their homes. And we set an example across the world, and we started the secure tourism certificate or safe tourism certificate. And we were one of the countries that had the least amount of damages inflicted to the tourism sector during the pandemic, and we were one of the countries that recovered most rapidly after the pandemic in terms of tourism as well. And we ensured that this was possible through creating these safe environments. And with this certificate, we wanted to also focus on being prepared for the future. And we started our sustainable tourism certificate as well, because this is going to become very important. The pandemic crisis is also showing us that environmental factors are going to be very important in the future. And of course, tourism is one of these sectors that is impacted by external factors the most. When you look at the crises suffered by the tourism sector, you see that most of these were caused by external factors, factors that were not actually part of the tourism sector. So we completed the first phase of the certification, and the second phase is ongoing, and we will hopefully finalize the certification process in the upcoming years. And also, to improve our competitive edge, we are trying to work on our legislation, and we are focusing on inspections, and there were a lot of important laws enacted in this framework, and through these we will further improve our competitive edge, our competitive power in the future as well. And of course, we are having debates and discussions with the stakeholders of our sectors as we are doing all this. Now, of course, there is an incredible tourism potential in our country, and by setting the accurate standards and strategies and collaborating with the stakeholders, it is truly possible to reach our goals. We witnessed this in the past, and this will be the case in the future. And as mentioned earlier, we will continue to take solid steps towards our goals as the ministry as well. And of course, I would also like to encourage all foreign guests to invest in the tourism sector in Turkey, because our growth in the tourism sector will be higher than the world average, and there are immense opportunities in the area of tourism investments. As I mentioned earlier, we have a huge potential in terms of diversifying tourism products, and as the ministry and together with the investment office of the Republic of Turkey, we will be providing all the support possible. And I would like to once again invite all foreign guests to invest in tourism in Turkey. And I hope this forum will be an efficient one. And I would like to thank the Turkish Tourism Investors Association and everyone who put effort into organizing this forum. We will be closely following this forum, and I would like to cordially greet you all.
Sayın Bakan Yardımcımıza çok teşekkür ediyoruz ve güzel İstanbul'umuzun kıymetli
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. And the governor of the beautiful city, Istanbul, is with us. Our governor, Davut Gül. Welcome on stage. Honorable Deputy Minister, esteemed presidents, distinguished guests, and representatives of our sector. I can see in your eyes that we have already heard it all, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm just going to outline a couple of points, and then I will leave the stage. Now, our President, Ms. Narin, in her speech, mentioned this. In about 40 years, we went from 50,000 to 2 million bed capacity. That is what our sector looks like. So in 40 years, we had a 40-fold growth almost. And this is your achievement. So first of all, I would like to send out my gratitude to all investors and all stakeholders who supported this achievement. Thank you.
İçeride ve bölgemizdeki tüm olumsuzluklara rağmen
Now, despite all the negative developments in our country and around us, Turkey is preserving its political and economic stability and also preserving its security while growing at the same time. Now, we heard it in the presentation of the head of the investment office as well. In 40 years, there was significant development, but in the last 2 decades, and actually in the last decade, there has been a bigger growth. So this means that as long as this trend continues, your goals will be achieved as we all desire in the next 5 to 10 years. So all conditions are in our favor. The economic program is being implemented. We have finance professionals here. We have bankers here. Maybe it's not up to me to say this, but I'd like to mention this. Now, with the decline in the inflation rates and with the anticipated decline in the interest rates, and our risk premiums having a decline trend, especially in the second half of 2025, we will probably have the right conditions for investments. And that's why the timing of this event is very important. I mean, starting the preparations now will create the right time for investments to take place in 6 months. Now, tourism, I mean, we see that both in technology and in tourism, we have many events taking place in Turkey and in Istanbul, actually. So we are at your service 24/7 whenever you need our support, and we are ready to pave the way to do whatever is required from us for you to be able to achieve your goals. And basically, we will take care of everything that needs to be done at the local level and everything that needs to be carried to the national level. We will become part of your team, and we will follow up with you for whatever that needs to be done. So I would like to thank the president of the TTYD, the chairman of CMB, and the president of the investment office, and I hope it will be a fruitful event for the entire sector. Please stay on stage. Ms. Narin, I'd like to invite you as well. We will have a presentation of appreciation and a family photo. So I'd like to invite Mr. Kaan Gür, İbrahim Ömer Gönül, Bekir Emre Haykır, Nadir Alpaslan, and Ahmet Burak Dağlıoğlu. If you could all join me up on stage, please. Our plaques are also arriving. These are presented on behalf of TTYD at our fourth event, Destination Future Turkey, this year. We have completed the welcoming remarks, and we would like to thank these esteemed speakers who delivered their welcoming remarks to us. It was very important that they were by our side on this day, and I would also like to invite the board of TTYD upon stage as well. And our board is also very important for us because they are putting a great deal of effort to achieving the goals of the sector, and also their efforts for this day cannot be forgotten. So a round of applause for the board, please. So we completed our official welcoming session, and we finalized the opening of the fourth Tourism Investment Forum.
Evet, yönetim kurulu üyelerimiz lütfen sahnede yerlerinizi alınız efendim.
Yes, dear board members, please join us up on stage.
Evet, bir kez daha çok teşekkür ediyoruz.